Can the school teach you better than the black church? No. But the school and those who study can give the evidence, uh, and can give the timeline, can give the pedagogy of the black church, can help you to understand its ritualistic practices or its rituals, because you don't get all of that. You don't get that in the church. You get the experience. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense. So now I want to kind of take you to why I thought of that question. So I think about that question with what we now consider like European classical music. A lot of that music that we consider, that we apply that label to, was somebody's church music 300 or 400 years ago.
mhm,
You
mhm,
know, and then the things that were solidified as as best practices or whatever in that on that continent at that time, a lot of that knowledge distilled down into what is now the university, the university, right? And so I'm thinking like, but at the same time, by me studying Bach in undergrad, I am now I still have no idea what the culture of that church sounded like.
yeah,
I can read about it.
sure.
I can study it. I can know all the facts and dates
Yeah,
about who wrote what music in Germany and Austria and wherever. But there is nothing that I could study at the university now that would help me understand that culture. It's like almost like we stripped the music away and left the culture behind in the past. And so that's where my thought, that I'm thinking, okay, so now we could potentially be teaching gospel music in the university. Do we risk doing that to that art form as well? You know what I
that's
mean?
true. That is because in the yeah, in the article that Melanie Burnham that she wrote, it was essentially talking about whenever gospel was performed in Japan, it was appropriated because they were introduced to gospel through Sister Act 1 and Sister Act 2. They would even put on the clothes, they would have their hair and these styles, and they would perform this music, but had no idea of the religious impact that it made and as to why
Mm,
it became so popular, quote unquote. But then, of course, as we've been mentioning, this cultural experience as well too, which they saw, and they're like, "Oh, this looks fun. Let's do it." But the way that Hollywood glamorized this was it drew people in. So you got to have both experiences.